Hi, I'm John Hibbins, and this is the Metaverse Show. You can find us on Roomkey, YouTube, and your favourite podcast provider. This is episode 2, and today I'm joined by my co-host Steve Wright,
Hello.
my other co-host Anthony Smith,
Hello.
and our special guest GT from the Gamertag VR YouTube channel.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the show, GT. Wow, it's been some time. We were just saying. I can't remember the last time. I think the last time I saw you was EGX Res some time ago now.
2019.
Yeah, that is a long time ago. But I'm going to start with a big question, GT, that I'm sure everybody watching or listening is interested in. What got you into VR streaming?
What got me into VR streaming? Glitches. Originally.
Glitches?
Yeah, just graphical So when I first got into virtual reality, I found it really amazing that you could do different exploits. You know, like you could physically stand up and walk into a room that you're not supposed to be in to see maybe some. Do you know what I'm saying? Like there was just new things. Yeah. It was just and some glitches I found really funny. It was I always forget the name of this game. Oh, what was it? Saint Key or something. It was like a horror game on PSVR, and it was good, scary sometimes, but in other times it was so broken, and I found it really funny. So I started just recording. This was one of the amazing things about PlayStation at the time, and now that you've got a share button on that controller, so automatically you're giving every single owner of a PlayStation the ability to share video clips or go live straight away with no experience or anything. You just need a YouTube account and you're ready. So that's what I started doing. And then what really made it kind of like, oh, this is something a bit more than what I was expecting was IGN did a incorrect review of Doom VFR, and they said the game had no smooth turning and no locomotion options. So I set the game up properly. I'm playing it like a real first-person shooter. I'm playing it with the DualShock, which means for the time as well, the game was very fast-paced. And suddenly I had people watching saying, how are you doing this? This looks great. I heard this game was trash. It looks really good. And it just made me feel like I was helping. So that was it. That was the
amazing story there. And you started on PSVR. You just brought. What made you buy PSVR?
So I've loved video games all my life. I've played every console. Regrettably, I sold a lot of them. I'm trying to start that collection back up now. But they've always meant a lot to me. Bit of a broken family story when I was growing up and stuff. But video games are always there throughout, and they've always helped me. They're a really good way of. I don't read many books. I have read books, but it's really nice when you play a video game that is all you care about. That is where you are. That's all that matters. Everything else is switched off. It's kind of like a little break kind of thing. Being someone else, you know. And so yeah, I've always loved video games, all sorts of video games. And then I think around the age of, I must have been what? So this was 2016 PSVR. I'm not sure how old I was, but I just wasn't excited about them anymore too much. I was still buying the big games, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto. They're ones that just came to mind. But I just wasn't as excited as I was like when I was a kid. You know, like I remember going to Toys R Us and getting like looking at a box art of a game, thinking I cannot wait on the Master System to go home and play this game, stuff like that. And so yeah, I was sort of in that place of where I'm still buying these games, but I'm not really enjoying them. And then knowing what Sony was like with trying experimental technologies, like with iToy, for example, the fact they were doing a PSVR headset and it was like at a price that was going to be not like buying a PC. Because I didn't own a PC. I had a bad experience with PC gaming. I found that you put a lot of money into it and very quickly it went out of date. So I didn't like that. And I tried the headset out on April 2016 at London Tobacco Docks, and I fell in love instantly. It blew my mind. It was everything I had imagined where video games were going to go. And that was it. I just could not stop. I remember being on holiday that year because it came out in October, and I was on holiday in like July, August time because of kids' holidays, and I was just on YouTube every day looking at trailers because at the time PSVR had some really big games like Batman, for example, in VR.
Mm.
I was so excited to play to experience this stuff, and that was it. Like literally, yeah, took over my
So
life.
like you like the embodiment of it. So do you become like in your head when you're playing? Do you like become the characters? Do you go like full on presence?
I believe we are sitting at a table. I've got Anthony staring at me. You know, I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah, yeah.
This is me. Hello, Alex. How you doing? Over there, man. How you doing? Lloyd. You know, I can't read that name at the back. I do apologise. How you doing, guys? It's just, yeah. It's just. I feel like we are in this space, and that is why virtuality is so special. That is it in a nutshell. I am not in my room anymore. I am here. And the only things holding this back for me for making it even more amazing is technologies that are going to improve, such as FOV, a little bit of resolution and stuff, and that's it.
Oh my, are your dreams going to come true? I mean, the next round of headsets and technology in process. And we've just had the announcement that those Oculus Connect, I don't know what number we're on now, 99 is on this year in October, and they usually announce quite a lot of new stuff. Don't they? Excited about that?
Yeah. Do you?
Because
Well,
of course
I
you're
am.
in it. I have noticed you're on a Quest now. You do
Yes.
do PSVR stuff too, but you do use the Quest for your show.
Yeah, so PSVR recently, I've done a review of a couple of games recently, and I think it's hard sometimes to remember to go back technology-wise. I've got to remember how old that is, and sometimes when you're playing a game, there's not the interactions and stuff that you'd expect on, say, PC, for example. And I think that's why Oculus is such a great headset at the moment. You'd always recommend to anyone getting into VR to buy a Quest because they're so affordable. If they haven't got a problem with Facebook. Because they're so affordable, and you know it's got a great games library, great UI. The controllers are fantastic. So yeah, but the only thing that worries me, or the one thing I'd like to see, is a new PCVR headset from Oculus.
Ooh.
But I just seriously think they're going to stay standalone, and I get that. I do
Well,
get that.
yeah, and there's a number of things that hint at PC VR not being wireless anyway. I did notice last week, that the Wi-Fi, I don't know what it's called, the double band WiGig or whatever it's called, WiGig 2 has now been approved for consumer use, which is 4 times the bandwidth of WiGig, which is already way faster than most people have got in their homes. So these dongles and things probably appear at some point or another as well. So it's you can see the path in the future.
That's great, man. Because like, a lot of people when I stream, they say to me, "Oh, why aren't you using AirLink? Why aren't you using Virtual Desktop?" Now they're great if you're not streaming. You know, when you're trying to stream and you're using that bandwidth for other things, and then sometimes just because of the way technologies are, you'll get lag. I'm like, unfortunately, I have to go Link because it's just you know, more.
Haven't you
more
haven't you opened up the headset yet and then soldered on a second Quest 2 for doing streaming? Something like that. But no, fully understandable. Even PC streaming has its problem. Well, I've noticed people tinker with their headsets. There are some strange looking headsets around. But yeah. Well, it's only going to get exciting that PSVR 2 confirmed, and you know, I find this is going to be a little bit of a tightrope to walk, but you know, because I've obviously got PSVR 2 dev agreements and things, and I can't really talk about it. But publicly spoken about, they've announced the controllers. They look pretty cool. 6 degrees of tracking, pretty much parity to normal PC VR, you would say.
I just can't wait. Like that for me. I love technologies and I love these social experiences and stuff, but for me it's always been about the games. Like that is what I want to do and where I want people to be as well. And I love what Oculus is doing. Like they seem to have come along at the point where things were downtrended a bit. PSVR was what the Quest is now, the buzzword, and then slowly that slid off, and then Quest come along and boom, like everyone's kind of forgot about the PSVR to a certain degree. And yeah, I just hope that continues with the next trend, you know. And I think PSVR 2 will be massive. Like, I think it'd be absolutely huge, you know.
Yeah, I think, well, they've got the library. I mean, it's interesting. I've got a PS5. I think you've got one as well. Is that right? I've spotted at some point you've got PS5.
Do you know what? I've never told anyone this. I've actually got two because I
Ah,
needed.
what? Scalper alert!
I
We should set
know.
all the alarms off.
I've never told anyone this. Basically, I needed one. So I was always, should I tell anyone? I've got one. What it is, I like to chill out and play games in my front room. Yeah, I'm loving that still. So yeah, downstairs is the physical PlayStation. That's the physical one where you put the discs in and stuff. Now, I'm very lucky and very fortunate doing what I do that developers want to give me keys to games. So that's what the digital PlayStation 5 is always next to my PC. That is for those games.
Totally understandable given you're a streamer. But there are some epic, I mean, just talking about PS5, I've got the new Xbox One X, Series X or whatever, and the PS5. And it's the content. I mean, Returnal for me was one of my games of the year so far. Absolutely loving it, and I appreciate Ratchet and Clank, but it's like just playing a Pixar movie. It's ridiculously good looking, but a bit of a high level of constant tone. It doesn't have this ebb and flow that I love in gaming, and it's not hard. I mean, you could have put 100 people through Ratchet and Clank, and all 100 of them are going to get through the game, right? It's like it doesn't get hard. But fair enough, that's a certain market. But I mean, I can't wait for that stuff to be brought to PSVR 2. And it seems that they've been very public saying that they want AAA quality games working on PSVR 2. So things, you know, I imagine.
Well, that hybrid. They mentioned a hybrid system, haven't they?
Yeah, and I think that's wise. I mean, I think there's clearly people chasing the proper AAA content. I mean, I did in my research on you, excuse me for that, GT, I noticed two of your top 10 videos are purely like hyper popular games. So your Zelda VR is the most popular one, right? And it just shows how much people want you know, their games in VR and want to be able to play properly. So I think
that is the whole thing of some channels grow very fast by doing games that aren't VR and adding VR to them. You know, well, any game really at the moment, to be honest with you, because what will happen is a game will come out that's very high quality, such as Fract from End Dreams. Regardless of what I think of the game, visually and audibly, that game is very impressive, especially on PlayStation 5.
Didn't Patrick say he built it for you, GT? Is that a true comment I read somewhere?
I don't know. But that game, I was very lucky. I played it back in 2019 when it was just all wire and grid work and stuff. And as soon as I used that mechanic of grabbing the world to move around, I thought this is a great way of getting around the fact you've got no joysticks on the Move controllers. It's very, very clever. That game, by the way, is the best looking game on PlayStation VR because of the enhancements the PS5 use. And I haven't got a PS4 or a PS4 Pro to check that out, but on PS5 it looks amazing. I can't remember where I was going with that, but
we've got PS5 in the boat here, and the PS4 2 on the outlook, and they're going to do a lot of hybrid games. I mean, I've got mixed feelings about hybrid. I mean, having said that, one of my favourite games was Resident Evil 7. That was hybrid, wasn't it? And it was brilliant.
That's amazing, Resident Evil 7. What I was going to say about Fractals, I was going to say, I do apologise, was the game hasn't already got a name. That's the problem. It isn't a existing brand from traditional gamers now into virtuality. And we don't see that very often. And like when you just brought up Resident Evil 7, which is a fantastic game in every way, considering there's no move controllers, it is just head-based tracking, using a DualShock. I love watching people play that game. I love it. I'm so envious of people who do game shows that get to see brand new people in VR because it's one of my favourite things is watching people react to VR. And in Resident Evil 7, do you remember the bit when you go under the house and the water is up to like your neck? My friend, I was watching, he had his head up and he was making like fish mouth movements like he was running out of air in real life. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, that's the power of VR right there, you know? Like, yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I had the pleasure of playing. My first PlayStation VR demo was Kitchen, which is the predecessor. It was Capcom. It was them doing a demo to see what they could do in VR. And I was sat on this chair in a kitchen holding the controller because that was the only thing that's tracked. And it was just terrifying. It was this zombie coming towards you. And it ends with this like dagger spiking into your eyes. Which is the most that is one of the most unpleasant And I don't know whether people know this, but PSVR has a very, very short focal point. It can render within like inches, whereas normal VR is set to like, I don't know, a meter and a half away or something. I can't remember what it is,
Right.
but so it's like you really get that eyeball look on it. It's terrifying. And
That
there's a bit in. Gone.
no, sorry, carry on.
Oh, I was going to say there's a bit in Resident Evil 7 where you get spoiler alert. Turn off now. You get your arm chopped off, and that is it's like I'm scarred with that for life, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Oh, before I'm terrible at forgetting what I want to say, but just quickly, we raised. I did a charity stream, raised over £1,000 for cancer research one day, and we were so close to that £1,000, and my wife said, "I'll play Resident Evil 7 for 1 hour if we hit £1,000," and we did it right
On the loading screen, or
no, she made it right. So she made. I think if I remember correctly, she quit where the lady is. She stabs your hand against the wall and everything, and then she in the house.
Yeah.
And I remember my wife. She was screaming at the girl.
That is the bit. That is the bit where I literally am scarred for life due to that.
Yeah,
scene.
she was saying, "Why is she doing this? Why like it was really it was brilliant. Like for me, it was absolutely amazing.
Full of spoilers, but you. Go on, Steve.
I was just going to say, this is just bringing back memories of OC5 and Face Your Fears 2.
Yeah.
The first, so when OC5 when they announced properly the Quest 2, the queues were obviously for like for the people at OC5 were for like super hot and stuff. And there wasn't really a queue, but me and John wanted to try and get on one quick, and there wasn't really a queue for Face Your Fears. So I am terrible with horror games, like just horror in general. I'm absolutely like I just can't.
There was no
handle
queue
it at all. Yeah, but there was no queue. So John goes in, does the experience, and then like I go in, and it's easier on Quest 2 than it is on like a Vive. Because you've got your ears are uncovered, and for some reason, I think it's because you can sort of get the outside sound in, and so you can kind of like force yourself to go out of the moment a little bit because you can hear what's going on outside. But like I'm in Face Your Fears 2, and I'm doing all the stuff, and there's the bit with the like in the demo, there's a bit with the shed, and like you're gonna open drawers and spiders are gonna come out, and then there's a person banging on the door and stuff. And all I can hear is John just pissing himself outside, and like, and he's and even though I could hear just this maniacal laughter coming from outside the headset, it was still the most terrifying thing I've ever done in VR. It's just it's something about like really visceral. Really visceral horror scenarios that I think is really compelling, because you're just like, well, I know nothing can hurt me, so like I really want to do this, but at the same time, there's a game called Deuce Helix, which is quite an old VR game now, made by a Swedish company, and that's not even like a horror game. That's just like a kind of fairly atmospheric. Like I can't play Half-Life Alyx. I found this out the other day, which again isn't really a horror game, but it's just the atmosphere of it. It's just like a bit too much for me. I just have to have somebody else.
The visuals as well. You can't. I mean, I know some people underplay visuals and stuff and say about gameplay, but in virtuality, if you can up that visual level, it just adds to immersion to a crazy point. Like,
atmosphere. Like just there are certain flat script like 2D games where the atmosphere is really amazing, but fundamentally you're still looking at a screen, and everything around the screen is still your house or whatever, right? But when you're in VR, the atmosphere of the environment that you're in is kind of like amped up to 11.
Yeah. Have you guys done Phasmophobia?
I do it every Wednesday. And I have done it the whole of every Wednesday, 4 of us.
As do I.
Yeah, Anthony joins me on that. We love it, don't we, Anthony?
Oh, it's brilliant. It's a highlight of the week.
Yeah, me and my daughter and Anthony and his sister every single Wednesday. In fact, I was in there last night.
You go to Ghostbusters. You become Ghostbusters. Yeah.
Well, it's become a really sociable thing, but I super look forward to my Wednesdays. Do you, Anthony?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think we've missed very many. I mean, we've like missed one or two.
Speaking of
like
Ghostbusters, every now and again I actually play it over the stream.
Yeah,
With-
yeah,
with-
he plays the sound of the Ghostbuster tune, you know, in the background as we're playing the game. It's very funny. He does
Honestly,
it. It's rare, but it's when he does it, we just burst out laughing. It's really, really good.
That
No,
game made
it's
me.
amazing. That game.
I remember like not screaming, but there's a clip of me. Oculus were funny enough asking for people's biggest jump reactions, and I knew mine straight away. It was Phasmophobia because I shouted so hard that I hurt my throat and my chest. Like,
This is genius. We can go 2 hours in a night and you don't see a thing. It's like, it's genius. And then when you do see something, it's so meaningful. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
did
And
you do?
terrifying, especially with VR. You turn
Yeah.
around and it's right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I just find it amazing. Like I watch other videos of content creators and the way they're reacting to what's on the screen. Don't get me wrong, is obviously very real. But if you do that game in VR, my God, like that is, it's a whole new ball game. It's insane.
I
As I said,
agree.
I shouted so hard in Phasmophobia. It was like I might as well need to be getting hit by a car or something. It was incredible, and I swore massively. And yeah, they never shared my clip, and I watched all the other clips,
Aw.
and
It
I
was
thought,
too much, too strong.
oh,
for
I've got the
Oculus.
best clip. Yeah, because it was genuine. It was so it was obviously genuine. I don't make things up, but like, yeah, they didn't use it unfortunately, but it was obviously, yeah, too much. But
Well, we were in last night. Unfortunately, Anthony wasn't there, but Lisa was, who's a YouTube streamer that fills. She comes along when Anthony can't make it, so she's awesome, and she's got her own channels and things, and she's great. Shout out to Lisa. But yeah, we did it with Lisa last night, and from the minute go, it was an exciting night. We had one of the most crazy ghosts you've ever seen that appeared immediately and started chasing people around the house, and it was just. Every week it has this whole, it's different. And I'm just so pleased those guys are, well, they're investing behind it now. They've got a graphic artist that they're regularly posting on Twitter. I'm just excited to see that game go somewhere.
yeah, and it really
I'm a bit of a
can.
fanboy.
Like there's nothing really like it. It is amazing.
Well, it's fairly janky at the moment, I have to be honest. It's, the IK rig's pretty bad. The avatars aren't great. It's pretty stable
It
now.
adds to the comedy, though, doesn't it? Avatars.
does.
It can add to the comedy.
It definitely does. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. I'd love to help those guys. I would, like every minute I'm playing that game, I'm like itching that I wish I could help them because
I
there's
can
so
help.
many
They
little
must
things.
have some money now.
Scale and some of the techniques they've used aren't ideal for VR. You could tell. Anyway, that's a different story.
Yeah.
No, awesome game. Well, you are a fan of horror, I've noticed. What is your favourite horror other than Phasmophobia?
Favorite horror? I do like digging into like cheap Steam sale indie games, and I've come across 2 recently. Actually, there's 3 games made by the same developer. They are really intense, and I use Vorpex to give yourself some like extra immersion in there. And yeah, they're great. I can't remember the names of them now. One's Find Yourself. The other one was Locked Up or Locked In, and there's something else. They're bloody impressive, but probably pre-VR would have been PT. I think PT was the game where if I let anyone play it, I would say to them, please don't throw my controller across the room. Because I know...
Is that the one where you go like down the same corridor again and again?
Yeah, and I react well to that. I react well to... I'm not... Like, in games, obviously horror and gore creates that, cringe effect. But I love that mental side of horror, that psyche thing, they're trying to really mess with your brain. And Silent Hill 2, for example, was a fantastic bit of work, especially with the audio. And I remember watching the making of the game, and I still watch it today on YouTube because I found it so fascinating, the tricks they used, which genuinely, while they were working on me, I realised what they were doing while it was happening, and I thought, this is genius. Like, and that had 3D stereo as well, that game. It was incredible. Yeah. So
yeah, they can. Well, I mean, there's a lot you can do with gaze tracking. We haven't even touched on that. What about eye tracking? I mean, that's going to be here, isn't it? You joined us, by the way, when you appeared in the room, having a big debate about whether Index 2 will actually appear. I think absolutely going to have full eye tracking, full foveated rendering. Apparently, their new lenses are going to adjust to your. So you don't need glasses. They've actually worked out a way to adjust with multiple layers.
bloody hell.
Your focal point. Not only that, but it will also have full facial tracking and render, and they'll be able to move the lenses to focus on different areas as well. I mean,
Will it have inside-out tracking?
What?
Will it have inside-out tracking?
Yeah,
It's got to have.
Right, detail here. This is what I think it's got: 1,000 megahertz inside-out tracking that is not optical. It is optical in terms of literal, but it's basically like taking the lighthouse and projecting it out and then reading the laser returns. So it's like 1,000 megahertz. So you think of that.
That's like proper engineering.
Proper engineering, but if you think about that for things like Beat Saber and stuff, we're currently tracking at what, 75, 90, maybe it's tracking slightly faster, I don't know, but it's a massive jump in terms of fidelity and accuracy of positioning, because for things like throwing or picking up, or these are hyper accurate, and the controller's apparently going to do that as well. But again, all sort of rumor based on if stats, buts, and everything in the wind. But the fact is, I think that Index has been out of stock since day one, and it's been quite popular for Steam, and they just want to see that grow. So I think definitely an Index too.
Yeah, do you know what? The only thing, there's a couple of things that have put me off getting an Index, and I have used one, and I thought it was absolutely amazing, was the lighthouses. I haven't got any. And going from the CV1 to the Rift S at the time was great, because then it meant I could do mixed reality because I didn't need extra sensors. And it's just a case of like, once you get rid of those wires, you just want less wires. And also I kept hearing horror stories about the controllers. Lots of people in the community having issues, and I just didn't want to invest in that just in case. But yeah, so
yeah, I'm the same. I keep saying that I want to get an Index, and then actually, what I end up doing is just plug in my Quest into my
it's
PC.
£900. It's £900
over Link, and it's like, well, yeah, this works just as well. The screens on the Quest 2 are a little bit better in terms of DPI, and it's just like, yeah, I don't know if I can justify the £900 outgoing. I would love, for clarity, I would love for Valve to make an Index 2.
Absolutely.
I just don't think that Valve are very picky. Well, not picky. Valve are the opposite of picky. In fact, they just do what is interesting. They don't do necessarily things.
Well, they do what is interesting to them.
Yeah, exactly. Like the thing that's making them money, the thing that's running their business is the Steam storefront, and like everything else is just effectively like a side project to them.
Steam Deck. You're getting Steam Decks.
Well, this is what started the conversation.
I pre-ordered one. I immediately pre-ordered it because I'm a couch player as well. So I like to, with my Switch, I will sit on, while other things are going on around me. The wife's watching something awesome on telly. I'll just sit there and play a game on a console, and I can't really, I can't use the telly, and I don't want to sit in the computer room away from being in that company. So I will pick up my Switch and just play stuff side by side. It's not just about traveling for me. And I feel like the Index will just bring my Steam library to that, whether it's projected from a PC or running direct on the Steam Deck.
I'm so scared.
I've got a strong feeling I'm going to get one as well.
Oh yeah, dude! I pre-ordered the mid-tier, which would have been the 256, I believe. Is that
because it's got faster enemies and all the rest of it. It's a pretty wise choice.
I was playing Lawn Mower Simulator recently, and like. Well, as I said before, I've been really ill for like the last week. That game, I think I've put 20 odd hours into mowing grass. And
do you know what? It's a big deal. That Power Watch Simulator, which needs to be in VR if they're listening, definitely needs to be in VR.
I've said it to them from day one.
Sat sitting back and just chilling out, just following the lines and trying to get it perfect.
Yeah,
right?
they would make a fortune on Quest if they put that game on Quest, and it'd be massive.
This clearly embodies you as well, right? Because I logged on to your stream to check out what you were doing this week. And not just lawnmower. The second time I logged on, you were driving a truck.
I was.
You'd come back in your truck. I actually thought I was watching a video that you'd first produced from 5 years ago or something with the truck driving along. And it wasn't. It was your latest stream live driving a truck from A to B. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I like to just sometimes just jump into random stuff. It's not always about doing what's latest and and not necessarily greatest. Sometimes you got to have a look around, and Euro Truck Simulator is absolutely fantastic. I also had a Solid Snake as my sat nav for that, and it was just enjoyable.
Yeah, no, it's good fun. Well, it's good to see you doing things like that. I mean, I think, well, let's talk about VR channels and YouTuber for a minute. I mean, first of all, you now at over 25,000 YouTube followers. You must be proud.
I am proud. I've been having a bit of an issue like recently, personally, with the way VR is going, and it's just gone a bit slow. It's really slowed down recently for everyone, and it's such a shame when you believe in something so much. But at the same time, I can see it coming back really strong soon. Really strong.
Well, there's a lot of content on the horizon by the sounds of it, especially with Psvr 2. Yeah. Well, I mean, do you find yourself chasing algorithms?
No, I'm terrible at this stuff. Like, those 25,000 people have literally found me through, I guess, honest means. I'm just playing games. You do learn about the algorithm. You do learn. The algorithm likes you to clickbait. That's the problem. It does want you to do that. It is a successful way of doing stuff, and I just don't do that. And and other content creators have said to me, I can be a bit more flexible with what I do. Like, don't necessarily. There's lots of versions of clickbait, but you can kind of do it cleverly. You can kind of do it in a way that doesn't annoy people. And I'm just not really any good at it. I kind of just say I'm playing Euro Truck Simulator, and
25,000 followers. I'm not really very good at it. No, I mean, GT, you're doing quite well.
It's not bad.
It's
bad.
pretty good. Why are not full time yet?
Why am I not full time? I simply can't earn enough. I nearly had the opportunity because I was going to be a community manager for a company, but that didn't really work out. And also, I think they needed more from me than the time that was arranged and also my availability with my family and working full time still, and trying to do a channel, and it just wasn't. It was almost like I needed to go fully into invest in them as much as they needed to invest in me. And it was kind of like a trial period. And we both realised that they're like, oh, it was good. And I was like, yeah, it was good, but it was bloody hard. It was a really, like, I'll be doing 20 hours. I don't know. I remember doing the 16-hour day in between 2 working days, trying to get something done at the last minute. And it was crazy. It was too much pressure. The channel suffered a little bit.
You could be a YouTuber full time. I mean, you lots praised you here. You are very entertaining to watch. You are a humble, lovely guy to meet in real life as well.
Thanks,
clearly,
John.
yeah. Well, you are, and you clearly, make great content, right? We're looking at some behind us on the screen right now. Surely, at some point, you've got to be full time, because you're just going to, that number will be 250,000 at some point in the near future if you carry on, and you do consistently put energy and effort into this. What is the point where you just jump and say, look, I'm not, I'm going to give this a trial for 6 months, or I'm going to try and grow it for a year or whatever, and then we'll just make it my living? Or is it something you just don't want to do?
No, I'd love to do this full time, and it consumes me. I absolutely love it. A lot of my friends now are VR friends. They are people in the community. I'm not saying I've cut off my other friends, but it's kind of that thing, like you end up swapping phone numbers, and this is everything to me. I absolutely love it. I do. I do this every day, happily every day. I would get up every day, and I would edit a live stream down or make a video, and I'd happily live stream again the same day and go to the gym. And I love it. I love everything about this. It's absolutely incredible. And thank you for inviting me on the show. Like, this to me is an incredible, well, not an opportunity. What is the word I'm thinking of? It's just incredible that anyone would even ask me to do something like this. So the 25,000 thing, I think, is amazing. There's odd spikes of success. So it's kind of like I've had some wins, but I'm not a winner yet. And that's what I need to do. I need to keep going. And to go full time, I probably need to take up some more of the offers I get offered a lot, because on TikTok I've got, I think, one of the biggest virtual reality videos on the platform. It's at 2.1 million views and growing.
Whoa.
Yeah,
What
it's
is
crazy.
that?
It's just me using haptics in Onward. Thank you. Cheers, Lloyd. Yeah, so it was only a little clip, really. And what it was, it's a clip of me doing a couple of shots with a gun. And you can see the recoil down my arm and my chest. And then I basically just pulled a pin out of a grenade and dropped it on myself and blew myself up.
Boom.
And then you
That
see
happens.
everything. Yeah.
It's
And you
usually the
see
controller's
everything.
fault. Shoot yourself in the head.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, and then the way I sort of edited it is you then luckily see full screen, the whole suit vibrate and shine, and yeah.
Boom. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was pretty great. I've had others on there do really well, like in the 70s and 100,000s, but it doesn't necessarily come across. It doesn't, those people don't, because I can't live stream on that platform yet, which would make such a difference. And I've actually in the what's the word? In the effort to try and go full time, I have worked for I think it was a Japanese company called Live It. I was streaming to them for 3 months paid, but that was a completely crazy platform. Like that was all about money, and you don't really realise it till you're doing it. That everything I've got to do is to force the person watching to feel like they're paying me, and I need to really just push that to the point where the content. And this is what I said to my, what are they called? Like, you have your own personal someone to talk to there, my manager. I basically said, this is the reason I've got to quit. It's because your platform puts content to one side. You're actually, don't worry about the game you're playing. Just keep talking to the people to go, thank you. Oh, yeah, send me that. I need this. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this. This is not what I'm about. So that was a shame, but.
I suppose if it's not fun for you, then it's just not fun, and then it's a real proper job. And
yeah, I did meet a good audience on there, but the main thing of it was they were like, you're not pulling in enough of these whatever, what are they called, star coins or something.
Wow,
it was an amazing.
It.
It was an amazing platform in some ways. It was fully portrait. It wasn't widescreen. It had a very low streaming rate. So, like for Twitch and YouTube, for example, you need to be in the 5,000 to 6,000 megabyte upload to be hitting at least 1080p at 60 frames. On theirs, it was portrait, and it was something like 1.2 megabyte is the most amount of bandwidth you could upload to. Any more than that, and you caused freeze frame. And when I saw the quality of the stream, it was really high fidelity. I was like, how is that possible? And they were like, oh, it's just some like encoding engineering they've mastered over there. And it would be like a live interactive platform where you could, for example, easily affect the stream. You could put glasses on me. You could change the color. You could do all sorts of things, make butterflies appear or flowers or disco lights and loads of crazy stuff. Oh, it's amazing. It was it was called Live It. It was called Live It. I've got the t-shirt. I can send you the t-shirt. But yeah, so that was another one in a thing of trying to go full time. But again, it was more burnout because I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to still do YouTube, and I'm still trying to do the full time at work. And eventually, that's it. I think what I need to do is just keep plodding along and hope that eventually enough people find me.
Well, presumably you are monetized on YouTube now at 25k, so they must be bringing some. Sorry if I'm getting too personal. I just think people are genuinely interested.
It does bring you money.
25,000 followers. How many more do you need before you forced out the door? Basically, you've got to give the other job. Just the other ones are earning so much money. What type of numbers do you really need?
It's not always about subs. Obviously, it's about views, interaction, stuff like that. So you could have, example, YouTube Shorts. No one gets monetized for YouTube Shorts currently, and there's some channels that had 4,000 subscribers, and then I watched one in a month go to over 100,000 subscribers because of YouTube Shorts. Now, they got the tick, they got the plaque, they then go and do a live stream and they get like 300 views because those people have subscribed for short content.
Quick and they're the wrong one.
Yeah, they don't want videos and they don't want any. It doesn't look like they want their videos and they don't want their live streams. So that success is great, but there's no monetization in it, and you're not going to get anywhere with that. So I've kind of like steered away from doing YouTube Shorts on the channel. The main channel is about edited content, and videos, like we discussed before, where we was talking about how live streams are great while they're live, but once they're done, it's the end. There might be some views.
I did notice you split them. You've split Gamertag Live and Gamertag VR, which is wise, isn't it? Because that also affects your algorithms, as far as I understand. The live content is completely different algorithm than set to
completely
your content. So keeping them separate helps the channel.
You told me that in 2019, and I've always had it in my mind, and I've always known that these things matter. But it's kind of like, if you're having a good time, you just think, well, I'm just having a good time. It's fine. But funny enough, the subject you're bringing up is the reason that I've tried to change it, is because eventually I would like to do this full time, and I've got to make the algorithm help me in some way. I've got to. If I'm not, I'm putting in the hours, I might as well make some sensible decisions along the way. So I've been doing it 3.5 years. And in YouTube terms, that's relatively short. Some people have been going 10, 15. So hopefully it works out. I'm still having a great time. There's been some bumps, but it's been absolutely fantastic. And I'm very lucky. I've got nearly 3,000 on Twitch, nearly 4,000 on Facebook, 15,000 on TikTok. There's lots going on. And, but if it comes down to money, I would go and buy, if I went by, say, for example, this month, I would have to do 4 times the amount of money I'm earning now to get there.
For it's viable. Well, I have no doubt you'll get there. But I want to change the whole topic now to something that are really important. I mean, right, let me start by contexting this. I've met you in real life. You are a fit guy who obviously goes to the gym, and he's very intimidating in terms of, and I'm a 6 foot tall, I'm not.
You're massive,
fit, but I am a reasonable sized gentleman, right?
Yes.
But obviously you love the gym, and I really want to dig into whether VR fitness is good and how you would compare that to the gym experience.
Okay. How would I compare it to? I like VR fitness, and I think there is something to be said for it. But personally, if you're into weight training, it's no good because you can't lift anything,
Not strapped weights to your Quest controllers yet, then?
I could, but then the problem is, and I'm not bigging myself up, I like to shoulder press 80 kilos. I like to chest press 140 kilos. I don't know, so that's the problem. So when you get to doing this stuff with weights, and I do high rep range as well. I'll put 60 kilos on a bar at the gym and I'll do 240 reps. But there's a certain point where I don't know what size weights I'd have to strap to my body to get. I don't know, So there was an American company that reached out to me, and when things were going quite well, and they wanted to fly me to America to try this gym. This was before lockdown. That's what stopped it anyway. I think I don't know whether their company survived, but what they did was they'd have a cube area and they'd have weighted straps. They'd have pulley systems. There you go. Mm-hmm. They'd have them above the head, upper body, middle body, lower body, and lower floor. So there'd be a handle, I don't know how many, 16 handles all around you in indents in the wall, and behind that will be pulley systems, weighted pulley systems. And the games would basically coordinate with whatever straps you wanted to use. That I would do, because if I was doing a chest exercise with those pulleys, and it was just like like Box VR, for example, excellent game, but it had weighted pulleys on it, that's awesome to me, because that would be hard work. That would be weighted work. It's not just, that's the thing. At the moment, VR is very cardio based. That's where it is at the moment, because they can't do much more than cardio based. And I'm not saying it's
So from
any
that
good...
point of view, it's high short action, high volume of movement.
Yeah, so like I love probably the hardest game I've ever done in VR is Thrill of the Fight. Thrill of the Fight. Yeah, I was soaking wet playing that game. It was unreal, and it was really exciting, and I really enjoyed it. And one of the best things about working out in VR is you don't feel like you're working out because you're having fun. So I'll go to the gym and do skipping, and the reason I choose skipping is it's high effort, and it's fast. You get it over and done with within 9 to 12 minutes, because I just don't want to do cardio for that often. So in VR, it's really great that you can do an hour of cardio and feel like you've only done 15, 20 minutes because you've been having such a good time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's clearly amazing stuff for some people, right? I mean, it sounds like you're really at the top end of gym stuff there, but for a lot of people, it's perhaps, especially during lockdowns and stuff, it's probably the only exercise they've had other than the occasional walk.
Yeah.
Gyms have been shut. Yeah, amazing stuff. So, right, another question that's burning me is Space Pirate Arena is just about to happen. What do you think about all this scale VR?
Can't wait. I really cannot wait, and I think we're hopefully going to meet up and play some Space Pirate Arena. I remember seeing that, and for me that was another amazing wow moment for VR. You know, and I think it was Navy brought it up the other day. Some people are sort of moaning a little bit that, you know, I haven't got that play space. But I guarantee, but with things like Laser Quest or Laser Tag, there's people out there who want to travel to experience something like that. I think it's going to be massive.
Is there a business there where somebody's just 2 quests in a giant hall have rented out and charge it out for parties?
Is it limited to 2?
I think so, but I don't honestly know enough about it. It's funny, I have reached out to Chris and Dirk, but I haven't spoken to them. It was, to me and probably a lot of people, a bit of a surprise that it was coming at all because of the requirements of the play space.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, exactly. And also the danger that you can literally run into someone full speed. But, I mean, as you've seen on the internet...
Credit to Oculus for allowing it to happen. I mean, they did put on the Dead and Buried after all, so it's not new to them, but... Go on, Steve.
Yeah, that was the thing I remember distinctly from the Dead and Buried Arena thing at OC5 was that
you were so lucky to experience that.
It was so good. It was like that was probably the best thing that I've played in VR, I think.
Yeah.
But they were very clear. It's like, you do not run. It's like, and even when like it's really hard as well, because like you wouldn't deliberately go and run into and body check somebody, I don't think. But like even when we went and played Zero Latency over in Box Park in Wembley, and that's very much the same thing. It's like, you know, the algorithm of the game tries and keeps you apart from each other, and it's quite clever in that way. But when you walk into somebody in VR, because you're basically not expecting to hit them, you can really do some damage. So like I think that's gonna be the trick, isn't it? It's like otherwise you're just gonna end up with loads of reports of people damaging themselves and damaging their equipment by just hitting each other in these arena scale things.
I mean, I'm assuming that's what disclaimers are for. You know,
I assume so.
Probably one that you have to sign on the front of this one. Brand new thing.
I'm assuming they would show you a video of what it is, what could happen, and, you know, play it at your own risk. And I think 9 times out of 10, people are going to say, hell yeah. Like, it is what it is, let's go. So
I cannot wait to see your content on this, GT. It's going to be great content to watch, I think.
There is something planned as well, so yeah, cool, thank you.
I'm super excited about it. Look, we're about running out of time. Well, we're over. Oh, we're bang on. Look at that. I thought we were just slightly going over, but now's a good time.
I could do another hour.
I know, GT, we definitely could, but we might drive ourselves insane and people will just be complaining that the show's too long.
I'm really sorry if I spoke too long about certain subjects. I really do.
Oh, sorry. No. Do you know what, GT? It's a total pleasure to have you here. I've always had a lot of admiration for you, and you're going on to do great things. I'm sure we'll have you back at some point, and we can continue the conversation. And I honestly look forward to the next time I see you in real life, so that we can hang out for a bit.
Yes.
But yeah, let's close the show up. So I think that's it for this show. So thanks, GT, for joining us today.
Thank you
And,
very much. Thank you.
Yeah, well, it's just honestly a real pleasure to have you here. And how can people find you, GT?
Just type Gamertag VR on any social media platform and you'll find me.
And thanks, well, that's awesome. Please do that. And thanks to Steve and Anthony for being my co-host today. Much appreciated.
Cheers everyone for listening as well and being here. It's awesome in this place. I love it. Everyone's clapping. So cool.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
If you can hang around for a bit afterwards, you can meet the crowd, etc. Anyway, you can find us on Roomkey, YouTube, and your favorite podcast provider. Subscribe and like to keep us on your radar. And if you want to host your own show or podcast, head to roomkey.co. It's free and easy to get going and automatically exports your streams for you. You can also find other shows like this one to enjoy. Thanks for joining us on the Metaverse show and have a great week. And we'll see you all on the next one.